Hey, it's Antti. Today I'm gonna do my next image review, so let's go straight into that. It's been a couple of weeks since I made a previous video, so I'm sorry about that. I will try to put a video every week at least, and there's a lot of new things coming up. I will go straight to the image review because I think you guys who sent the pictures to the image review are waiting for it. And if you don't know about my image review, in the description link below there's a information how you can take part of my image reviews. It's a Facebook group where I ask people to send pictures, and then I do a critique in a way about these stuff. Let's go into Lightroom, where I've already uploaded all the images for this particular image review. The theme was portrait, so let's check out what pictures you sent to me. Alrighty, here we are in Lightroom. Lightroom just got updated a couple of days ago, and we will have some additional features here, all these profiles, but let's not talk about that now. So let's just go into your images and talk about those. So the first image, just hold on, I will just put a full screen up here. So first, portrait. I think this is a really nicely lit, in a way, ambient light, natural light shot. I like the expression on her face. I like the shallow depth of field in the shot. Kind of a lifestyle image that you would see in any magazine telling story about her. I don't know, I always kind of look on the lines that are not straight. These could be something that might be fixed, or maybe here a small part that could be cropped. But otherwise I like the feeling of, I don't have much of a bad things to say about it. The eyes draws my attention straight to here, and you know, good expression, great smile, waking up in the morning, good shot. Okay, there's then some bit of movement, couple of issues. Of course, this movement in the feet gives away that there's this, you know, the movement thing, but all the other feet are stationary. So, but the most thing that I'm kind of complaining about is this cropping. It's right in the edge of the fingertips, and you should try to leave more space, or then crop even more closely. But just try to stay away that the tips of the hands or something else, the feet, ends right in the corners of the image. The format is kind of a square. It's not a square, it's, you know, something between. So with even the shape, if there's more of that graphite, I would have more graphic this background visible in the image, and especially the hand. So a couple of tips for that. Good movement, you know. I like the expression. More of like an artistic portrait. I like the desaturated tones. I like the movement of the head. I don't know if I don't that much like of the blurred corners. I think it would be more stronger to have really crisp edge to edge picture. Maybe do a slightly vignette to draw the eyes in the center, but otherwise as a this kind of portrait, really nicely done. The only thing is this part of the hair looks kind of a bit of a bulky area, but you know, as an artistic portrait of this person, definitely a good one. Good job on there. So here's a bit of I'm pretty sure that it's a composite image, shallow depth of field, bit of atmosphere. I think the background seems like really nicely the rain and the shallow depth of field and some crap flying there. But for me, the guy itself could use bit of slightly color toning and bit of more retouching to make it more look like a bit of more commercial. Nothing too bad, but I would shift some of the shades, maybe the darker side of the color, shadows, shift to the maybe to the different, so you get a dynamic feeling to the image. But I really like this Viking vibe of the image. Definitely I enjoy also the shallow depth of field, and it seems that it has been cut out really nicely out of the background. So good job on the composite image. Okay, then a bit of again a portrait. I'm not sure about the light on the face. It seems that it's been lit on the both sides of the, like edge, like, or both edges has been lit. But then how he's looking, how the light is hitting on the face, it's kind of only like a bit of here in the eye. And I think it would have been slightly stronger if the backlights would be slightly further away back, so you would get more like a edge light and then kind of get the silhouette type of feeling, or just the other light be slightly back. Of course you want to show the abs and the muscles in a way, so the lights has to be, but then this kind of a silhouette or edge light image it's not really easy to do properly, because now we will have a really big kind of a dark area in the center. It will kind of tone the edges of the abdominal muscles but nothing else, and I will see the edge of pants here but not here, so it'll be sucked out into the darkness. But otherwise I think it's a pretty decent shot, but might use a bit of tweaking to get it perfect, this kind of a low contrast light. It looks like a bit of a fashion shot. Could be used natural light or then flashes outside. I'm guessing that there could be some flashes, but I don't know. I don't know. Good exposure. Only thing that I don't know where the hands are going. First I'm looking that this hand goes to the inside of the pants. I don't know. Kind of a weird thing. No, it's going there. Kind of a good basic portrait. Okay, now I'm seeing actually the light, I think that a flash is hitting the face, and I will see the shadow actually here. So it's going straight to the side, so I would have lifted up slightly up if that's a flash. Good tones, I like these kind of tones. Really nice dark moody portrait. Would have cropped slightly up to the surface, or then lower, not only to the edge tip of the head. But I don't mind that it's totally dark. I can see still what's going on in the picture, especially when I open up slightly the light in my... I like the engagement. I'm not a fan of two catch lights in the eyes. And especially if there's like in both sides. I'm okay with the catch lights being up and down, but sometimes these two catch lights work and sometimes they don't. In this case, it doesn't bother me that much. Usually it will bother me quite. I like the tones, I like the good vignette in the pictures, I like the engagement. Really nice portrait. Good job. Okay, then a bit of beauty pictures. These kind of pictures that I see quite often. I don't know, the hands are really, difficult. I think there's some glued stuff in the fingers. You'll see some glue residue in the pictures. There's some retouching definitely done to the face, but it still looks kind of really raw. I think there's a bit of the skin it seems like it's slightly oily, shiny, and then there's a hard light hitting that, it makes it even more shiny because of the specular highlights. So I don't know. Typical picture, I will see these kind of quite often. Some stuff done to the hair, but there's some issues. I think people have done some hair retouching, but it's not done precisely enough. Next up, more like looks like a bit of a high key, but it's not definitely a high key. I think the texture in this side seems to be added. I think this white area is dominating my eye. Go straight to this empty space. Too powerful for the background. Forehead, the main light, kind of straight on. Issues with the kind of the posing. I'm kind of trying to figure out always the story. Is it just a portrait, or if there's a reason behind, and some yellowish tones in the hair. Could have small tweaks, feathering the light and stuff like that will make the picture world different. So practice on these portraits. Okay, another picture looks like more like a, in a way, kind of weird. It looks like a snapshot environmental, but then it looks like the background is changed. And for some reason it doesn't even bother me because of the desaturated tones. I think it would be more stronger actually if we would crop it. The hands, those are kind of a not there, so as a portrait I think, but if you want to show the hands, so I don't know what he's doing with this purse or whatever kind of bag that is. So, but I like the tones. It is really interesting, the color palette. Okay, then could be a studio or then just a actually I think it's a natural light shot because there's a catch light of the windows. I don't know what the story is. I think there's some kind of accident because he has a black eye and some bandages there. I think the tones are kind of all over the place. The neck is kind of a dark and then there's a couple highlights. When you're using natural light, it is kind of a pictures you will usually get. I think it's vignette is done afterwards, but I always prefer flashes because when I use flashes I can control the light and get it even, and kind of hard to say much of anything about that. Okay, then some conceptual image that looks like there's a mirror there holding, and it's a kind of pasted on there. I've seen these kind of concepts before, adding some texture. I think it wants to look like a bit of an older toned picture and stuff like that. I need to add a bit of more light here, so just hold on. Well, we have to stick with this because the night is getting darker and darker, so you'll get some kind of a proper exposure on my face. So I like the concept. I've seen these kind of pictures with the mirrors before, and it looks like old tainted picture, and I think it's a great concept, and you don't have to worry about replicating someone else's pictures, and because it's a still an artist, as I said in my workshop. Okay, then more like a traditional kid's portrait. Kind of a harsh light, you can see it from the shadows. Usually when I used to take pictures of kids, I used really big soft boxes to get a really warm wash of soft light and get a direction. You can see it's a really pointy light source, almost like a sun inside of studio. That washes out also the texture here. Maybe slightly warmer tones for the skins, but otherwise just a good old picture of a dude with a New York hat. Well, this is something different. Immediately it stands out from these pictures. I think there's a story, I think there's a texture, there's a interest to look at. It's a really cool picture. Actually really nothing bad to say about this. Really original. Okay, then more like a steampunk-ish portrait. Nice edge lights, nice tones. That might look slightly bit fakey, just because it just cuts out. It's just like the first smoke coming out of. I think there could be a slightly more smoke all over the place. I would like to see the catch light in the eyes. I think it's lit with the butterfly light way up there, so it's kind of a really dark. The eyes, small catch light in the eyes make the eyes live. But I like the separation. Good job. Nice retouching, nice tones. Okay, then some bubblegum pictures. I totally like the color palette of the pinkish and kind of a weird tones in the skin actually. Not that good job on the retouching. There's a really heavy edge here with the cutting out, and here some all the way sharp, but then some blur stuff here. Could have been really good picture, but then some of the retouching stuff has been done not to the perfection. Portrait of a kid. This is I actually know who this picture is, and I've seen it before, and I reacted this picture already. This is a really strong series of pictures of a small girl in a kind of wrestling outfit, bruises, fighting, almost crying. It's almost like a hard to look, but these are the things that you will get emotions. A really nice work, you know. Okay, I know this model, Saya. Been working with her many times. I really like this. I like the tones. I like the snow. It looks like actually a good proper real snow this time. Could have been something added, but it looks like definitely real one. There's a bit of a story in it, what she's looking at, because she was reading there. Maybe this line that's hitting to the head, but in a way it doesn't matter. Great job, great job. More like a street portrait, I would say. Not that kind of picture that makes me think that what's the story, but still good portrait, close-up. For me, these kind of portraits are always kind of the hardest at these kind of documentary portraits. These kind of has to have a bit of a story and not just look like a snapshot. So, but, you know, good overall picture anyways. Okay, looks like Finland in winter, but then there's some African vibes going on, like a turban head thing, and carrying something. I don't really know what the story is here. Kind of really hard to understand. The eyes are really dark. There's no catchlight. There's no much of a life, and it looks like it's like one stop underexposed, the front part in a way. Of course, the snow in the background is causing this, because that would be just blown out. But there's no, it's just flat. The light is flat. There's no direction, and kind of underexposed. Okay, it looks like a bit of a burlesque thing going on. Good kind of a tones. But the hands are usually, it's really hard. I try to look the hands quite often, and when you see the hands, 4 fingers, it looks like sometimes like when are all pointing towards you, it's not a really attractive look. So you could kind of try to feather even the hands, say that they're only a couple of fingers, and curl them back. Good, in a way, expression. Bold woman. I mean, nothing bad to say about it. All those small things, and there could be a small separation also here, not like an edge light, but just a feathered soft, so that it would open up, or then just a small fill light from the front, and it has this muted feel look. The blacks are washed, so in a way I like that. Okay, reminds me of some kind of a Jedi warrior. I think that's. I don't think I would be touching that if that's a Jedi's sword, but as a fluorescent light and that kind of, I really like the tones. I really like the engagement. I would love to test out sometimes again these fluorescent bulbs, and perfectly matching actually the texture in the blouse. It gives really much life to it, and the shallow depth of field. I think the sharpness is spot on in the front eye as it should be. Nice retouching. Yeah, good. I like this. Portrait of a girl. Again, these muted washed blacks. Looks like an older picture. I like the kind of a different angle of shooting. I don't know if there's too much stuff going on in the top comparing to that there's nothing much happening in there. Really nice, good to look, but now you can see that when there's catchlights in the eyes, eyes just lit up. Really nice. Maybe cropping might make it more interesting. Again, a portrait of a woman. Definitely some skin retouching done. I think it's slightly too smooth. I don't know. And I think that it's all natural light, and I think there could be. I would do that. I would drop all the highlights down and then bring the contrast back in by dodge and burning, slightly making the face more three-dimensional, because this area is kind of all white and almost like a shapeless, and could have used also some color grading techniques also to make it more interesting. Good overall picture. Again, this looks for me almost like a high-speed sync images, shallow depth of field shot with flashes, underexposing the background, and I really like these. It just brings the character alive. I like the red hair. Really good engagement, good portrait, really good portraits. I like because it's shot with flashes. It contours every single bit of the front part. I like these simple portrait. Again, simple portrait, more like a duotone picture, almost like a purple thing. Really hard light seems, not hard, but I think slightly too hard. And I think the skin is a bit over retouched on my taste. When you're using, it could have used like a high frequency separation, and when you're using high frequency separation, it's be really careful to watch out about how much you're gonna retouch in each layers. You know, I don't know about this highlight here, or this kind of a flare, but I think the skin is slightly over retouched. Good background, nice tones, good pose with the hands, nice separation with the backlight. You will see I don't know if it's retouched or just shot on this background, but I like the tones. Really fresh, looks really fresh and good, like a profile picture. Dictionary, that would be a profile picture of a woman. Good job, but really good basic portrait. Okay, then some bokeh circles in the background, but the problem is that the front is underexposed. There's not at all direction of the light. The skin tones look slightly even. There's like a gray film on top. This is some snow, shallow depth of field, but still could have done way better job of lighting. This part takes all my attention now. Geisha, I've done these kind of pictures also. Hard to say if it's a composite. I think it's a composite background. Could use slightly. The hands have a kind of awkward position here. They could have been like really straight up even, or like delicate movements. Now they are just up here, so that will bring the character alive. Could have used also slightly color. It looks like a straight out the camera of the colors, so could have used slightly of the color balance, the toning of the image, but could have been maybe a different frame is totally different. But I like everything that is done with the details of the costumes and stuff like that. Again, I've seen this before. This is great picture. A lot of story in it. Yeah, really serious. I liked everything, the tones, and nothing bad to say about this picture. Now you have seen, now you can see the catchlight in up and down. That's a good. I really like that. Only thing in this portrait, I would like to see a bit more separation from the background, even a hint that it's just all the fur kind of separates from the background and kind of carves out also slightly from here. But otherwise, really nicely retouched. This is not for my taste, over retouched and good, beautiful light. Hand positions, it could be just head and shoulders without the hand, but I like these two. Good environmental portrait, could be all natural light, direction of the light. Only things kind of distracting is this plastic coffee cup. I don't think that it will bring anything more. The lenses here and the laptop gives the story, but well, of course the cup of coffee also gives the story, but there's something that I don't. I like the tones, definitely. Really nice subtle tones. Darker, moody portrait, really nicely done. A lot of story, a lot of depth in this image. This hand slightly comes out of the darkness and it's like a hook, kind of a different hand positions. Really nice tones. Good portrait. I like actually the kind of a split lighting that you don't have to see. It also brings more dramatic feel to the image. What else? I like the tones, that it kind of shifts from warmer to the colder to the left. Okay, this is, I think, is just too heavy on this side. Everything is like overexposed. I like the expression of the guy, but then the tones kind of shifts into the blue and just overexposed. Just blasted like a flash or something like into the side of the head. Could use slightly more defined light on the side of the face and maybe a bit of a separation or fill light. This is a nice delicate portrait, nicely retouched, not overly retouched. Really nice engagement of the person. Really simple. Only thing that I would slightly off balance the shades to look like more interesting. But otherwise, really good picture. I like it. So there we have this time all the pictures, and as always I will choose one of you to kind of get my digital artist masterclass workshop, and it's, if you haven't checked out, here's a link for that, and this time I will give the access to this picture, whoever it was. I will just figure out. I think it stand out from the crowd easily. More like an artistic portrait. I really enjoy. I really like this one. Made me think. Really nicely done, all the hands, and so here was this time's this episode of image critique or image review. I really hope you like these and you'll learn something of my comments and stuff like that. So please be sure to join my Facebook group. I will post the next topic there soon, and I really hope to make more videos soon in the future. And if you definitely like these videos, put a thumbs up and write a comment what were your favorite pictures, and always subscribe the channel if you want me to create these more, because all the subscriptions, it will make me more want to create, and I know that you are there, and we will have some engagements. So it was this time. I need to edit now this video for you guys, and I will be seeing you on my next videos. Cheers.